Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Friday afternoon, March 15th, and we are looking at Window Trader's market profile of the ES and the NQ. So we'll recap all three of these indices charts, after this. Decent volume, that's to be expected with the expiration. It's definitely in our top 10. It's going to be about 100 million or more. Not a lot of movement. The Bears controlled the day, yet really didn't get much for their efforts. On the week, we're down maybe 50 cents. That's without the dividend and SPY, obviously, which was $1.60. We have an inside week in SPY. And when we look at the charts, I'll show you a couple of things that might be telling you there might be some attempt at change going forward. Had a good day. I lost on 3 trades today. 2 of them were on longs, and then one was on a loss in K and NQ on a short. But for the most part, I did very well on my shorts today. Let's go over. Righty does not take out the IB high or low again. Now, I don't keep stats for that, but it seems to have happened a lot this year. They had a perfect POC, 11 for 11, until they didn't get it in LRM. So they just go out with an 11 wide point of control, no IB high or low, and an inside day. So they go from down on the daily to down to balance. NQ, still in balance on the daily, they go out with a 10 wide point of control, and that's it. ES goes out, I'm going to use K's high since L didn't take it out, with an afternoon rally high, an 11 wide point of control. And we got both IBs again. And we failed on a trend day down again. So we've gotten both initial balances, A or B's, high or low, 23 out of 52 trading days. That's a very high number percentage-wise so far compared to last year. And our downside trend days have held only 3 out of 29 attempted days. Not attempts, attempted days. Because there's been days we've tried to go down, trend down, say 3 times and failed. I don't count every one. I just count one day. So it's 3 out of 29 days. So very interesting. We had lower value all day again today. The range was nothing special, but the volume was decent. So in A period, again, this is like the 3rd day in a row this week. Once we got the overnight low and we had lower value and we were below the opening, I was looking for nothing but shorts in NQ. And it worked. And you could have done it in ES also. Although ES was a little longer before they took out their overnight low. But the ebb and flow was a really good short in NQ. And also, ES was going back and forth through their opening. NQ got below it in A and stayed below it for a while. Okay? So in A and B, I was taking those shorts with the ebb and flow. In C period, even though we stopped the one-time framing and took out B's high, I took a short in NQ against the opening, which worked. Okay. Then I'm like, okay, looks like we're going to pop the IB high. Took a long at 68. Took it for only a 1 lot. Took it off for a 17-point loss. So I'm glad I didn't decide to get stubborn and start adding on that. So that was my first loss on the trade in NQ. Then in F period, this thing started coming in. It looked like the tempo was starting to build towards the downside again. Took the short to break the IB low finally and got paid on that in NQ. Then in G period, I was like, you know what? I think we're going to eventually stop the one-time framing in SPY ES. I took a long in G. I didn't think we'd go trend. Well, guess what? We did, and I took it off for a loss. Now, I turned out to be right, but just a little later. But that doesn't make it any better. My next loss also, I was right later. I'll show you that in a minute. So I took it off. I'm like, I'm not going to hold it, especially with everything going against it with the MGI. So I took it off for a 4 or 5 point loss in ES. Okay, then I'm looking J period, ES. I'm like, I think this could be an afternoon rally high. I only took it for 2 points. It could have held it for a lot more. Came back down the POC. Now, it turned out not to be our afternoon rally high. K is, but that worked out well there. And then in K and NQ, I took a short. I took it at 19 91. Is it 91? Yeah. Or 89. Shorted it at 89. I took it off at 99. Went up to 101 and then rolled over. Again, I was having a good day, good week. I'm like, you know what? I don't mind those 20-point loss, a $200 loss on a one lot. And all my losses today were NQ, the long was a one lot on 17 points. On the 10 points, it was a one lot. And same thing with ES. I don't mind those, right? I could live with those because I had good trades throughout the day and ended up green for the day and for the week. And that was my trading for today. I leaned towards the short side because, again, MGI told me to lean towards the short side. My two losses were longs, or 2 out of my 3. As far as our destinations, 510.55 is our afternoon rally high in SPY, K's high, and 511.70 is today's high. Downside, 509.66 is 11 wide, and today's low, 508.36. In ES, 90.50 is our afternoon rally high. 01.75 is our high. Downside, 81.25 is our point of control, 11 wide, and 67.75 is our low. Now, again, right before I get to the charts, again, this has to be a little concerning how we pressed here on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday's overnight, and just couldn't take out this overnight all-time high and the back-adjusted all-time high. And then Thursday, again, never got close to it, and now again on Friday. So the question we have to ask ourselves, is the market getting tired and we're going to go test the bottom of our balance? Well, today's low is 67.75. The bottom of our balance is 57. So we got within 11 handles of it. So now, again, just like we said on the upside, we got close to the balance high. We got close to the balance low. So it's still totally undecided. So now sellers have the ball in their corner. If we can't take out today's low and go test the balance low, well, then guess what? You rotate back up to the top of the balance. Now, remember, the Fed is Wednesday. So you might have that type of crap action until then. Hopefully not. But you can. And the other thing you have to be aware of, if we do take out the balance low or the balance high, don't get all giddy thinking we're going to come out of balance with real tempo and volume, because you do have the Fed on Wednesday. So they might just attempt to stretch a balance low or high and really wait till Wednesday after the Fed to make a significant move. Just things to keep in mind, okay? Now let's go and break down these charts. We've got to always be thinking ahead and 5 steps ahead. So IWM, the monthly is up, but definitely a little concerning how they just can't get any traction above these highs. But I'm giving them their due. They're one time framing up for 5 months. So, I'm going to just say that. They're up. Weekly. The weekly has changed. The weekly went from up back to balance. It's a 3-week balance now, the last 3 weeks. So even though the longest time frame, the monthly, is healthy, the weekly went from healthy to balance. Something changed. The daily went from balance to down yesterday, and now an inside day. So it's down to balance. Inside day, you come out of it, go with it, and monitor for continuation or lack of. So Righty did some good things to get the monthly up, the weekly up, the daily up over here. But things are changing again now. The weekly's balance and the daily is down to balance. Inside day. Triple Qs. Monthly is up. 5 months, one time framing up. It's very healthy midway through this month. Weekly is balance. Okay? The weekly is in balance. We took out last week's low here in triple Qs. So it's a 3-week balance. See how we're going to come out of it. Do we come out of it to the downside? If we do, your next target is down at 521. So again, that's a pretty decent move. That's like a $12 move to the downside. So again, we'll see. The monthly is up, but the weekly is balanced, and the daily is down. Now, this is triple Qs, okay? And that's because they had a dividend also. Now, right now, all these days are underwater here. But they also have their large gap here. Now, triple Qs are different than NQ because of the dividend. But I still have to look at the chart, what the chart's telling me. So their monthly is up, weekly balance, daily is down. Now, let's go to the S&P. Monthly is very healthy, 5 months, just like the NASDAQ. And the righty, for that matter. Now, our weekly, look at the difference the last 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, we did get good distance above the previous week's high, but we closed inside of it, indecision. This week, we didn't even take out last week's high. And look at this close. Does this spell the end of the rally? Should people be just loading up on shorts here because of this? Of course not. But it's something to keep an eye on because we'll see if change is going to attempt to take place. Let's put it this way. You got to really respect what the bulls have done. 9 weeks in a row, 10 weeks in a row. And this is the first one that had an inside week. So that's 19 out of 20 weeks. Can you blame them if they're getting tired? Does that mean the market's going to come down and come all the way back down? Of course not. Would it be healthy to take out some weekly lows? Sure it would. I would have no problem if it took out the last 3 weekly lows and come in, right? So I'm calling this up to balance because it's an inside week. If you take out these 3 weekly lows, I don't have a problem. Get some more balance at some point and then resume back up. So for people who have been trying to pick tops, it hasn't worked. So see if you come out of this inside week to the downside, right? The first thing you want to do is take out this weekly low. So the monthly is up, the weekly is up to balance. The daily, again, because of the dividend, you can call it down. You know, ES is balance. The bottom of our balance was technically 508.42. We traded 508.12 today, but that's because of the dividend. So I'm giving them their due in SPY and ES because they touched the 20, closed above it, and they barely stretched these 2 daily lows. So I'm going to call them balance still. But some good things could happen next week. Whether they happen Monday or Tuesday is a different story. So be aware of head fakes on Monday and Tuesday trying to come out of balance to the downside or out of balance to the upside. The real move, I would think, would be either late Wednesday or even Thursday morning after everything the Fed says is digested. I do not expect them to cut rates this week at all. They will cut rates down the road, but there's no reason for them to do it now, and I firmly believe that it won't happen. Over 100 million shares already, so this volume is going to be up there in our top 10. I hope you had a good day and a good week trading. I really appreciate you guys and gals liking and subscribing to this channel. Come check us out at camelbacktrading.org. $30 a month. What we provide for that is just priceless. And as we get closer to my 4-year anniversary with Camelback Trading, I might run a yearly special that we'll speak about within the next couple of weeks. Enjoy your weekend, stay safe, and we'll speak prior to the opening on Monday.